have Cassandra Miller today. She is a past student from LDM Florence and attended the Marist program there. And we're so excited to have you, Cassandra. We just want to hear a little bit more about your experience in Florence and ask you some questions about that. So maybe everyone doesn't know this, but you started at LDM as a study abroad student at first, but then you moved to the Marist-LdM program after that. What prompted that plan to relocate to Florence and do this new kind of international experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did start with LDM as a semester student coming from Marist College in New York. And originally I wanted to study in Florence for the semester because I knew that I had a rich history in fashion and was once the fashion capital of the world. So because I was a fashion design major, it felt like a perfect fit. And then once I arrived, I just was blown away by the fashion courses at LDM. The coursework itself was amazing, but it was the professors who really impacted me in such a special way that I knew I had to transfer. So really, yeah, all in all, I think having professors that are industry professionals that, you know, they design for the big name brands that I only dreamed of working for was such a big opportunity. So the decision to transfer was easy. And then the process was a little bit trickier because I didn't even know where to start. But after a bit of research, I found out that LDM and Marist have a long-lasting relationship where they offer the opportunity for students to study, you know, as semester students, but also for a whole year or a 4-year degree program. So once I figured that out, it was a breeze, and the transfer process went pretty seamless. So after all the paperwork was processed, I never looked back, and it was the best decision of my life for sure.
So during your years in Florence, you created and developed your own fashion collections, and we know there was one of these collections featured at the Visions exhibit at the LDM Gallery. So maybe you can tell me a little bit about your memories of that time?
Yeah, absolutely. So Visions was such a cool exhibition for us to be able to show our work. And I had 2 collections in the show and a few pieces, but the one that I was most passionate about was called Remnants, and it was inspired by Native Americans and their sustainability efforts. So I remember going into that semester, this was going to be our big senior project, and I felt like I needed to tackle an issue that was really bothering me, which was how I felt like high-end brands weren't really pulling their weight in terms of being sustainable and ethical in the way that they handled leather and fur. So I started doing some research and looked into how Native Americans were able to use fur and leather in a sustainable way simply because they believed like no part of an animal should be wasted. So after, you know, harvesting an animal for its meat, they would use everything from like the last bit of hide to bones to you know, all parts of the animal. So I used that as my driving force, and tried to think of ways I could bring that into my project, because I felt like whichever way you cut it, the high-end clientele is still going to want leather, whether it's like leather purses or leather shoes or even like leather seats in luxury vehicles. So it was a long process for me and it took a lot of development, but I found a deer ranch in Texas who worked with the government to keep healthy populations of their deer. And every once in a while, they'd have to harvest animals to keep the population healthy, and they would donate the meat to local soup kitchens. So I was able to take the hides and process them myself using the same traditional methods the Native Americans use. So, like, kind of what we think of as vegetable tanning. Um, but I used a little bit more traditional techniques, and then source the rest of my materials from recycled remnants of fabric in mills. So that's where the name of the collection came from. So yeah, it was. I could go on and on about it, but it was definitely a project that was really important to me, and I'm so happy I had the opportunity to see it through.
And to have other people see it too.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Currently, you're working as a designer. What are your projects that you're doing right now, if you want to share?
yeah. So it's been kind of like a long journey of different projects, especially with COVID. But I
Yes.
started as So when I made the hard decision to fly home after graduating in Florence, I think within maybe 2 weeks, I got a job as a designer working for a company who made high-end custom ice skating outfits for national and international teams. And that was like such a crazy, awesome opportunity. The head designer had just left, so they were looking for someone to fill the role who could grow into the position and also who wasn't scared of a lot of responsibility. So it was a really fantastic chance for me to grow and push myself creatively. And that was one of my favorite design experiences so far. They've since shut down, I think, because of COVID. Um, and in the meantime, I've been doing some bridal design work, which has been also a dream. And I started becoming interested in bridal design when I had an internship in Florence at a couture wedding gown studio with one of my professors. So I was still able to pull, even 2 years later, pull from those experiences in Florence. And now I'm continuing with the freelance design, and I just started teaching art classes. So I'm able to merge my two loves of fashion and art.
Looking back at Florence, do you feel that it's still present in your creations today?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so for sure. I think maybe not so much in like conceptually in the work I'm doing specifically, but my time in Florence has definitely pushed me creatively. So every project, whether it's an art project or a design project, I have like this newfound confidence to like push the limits of how much I'm capable of, and sort of never settle for less than what I think I can do. And I'm pretty sure that like picking up your life and moving to a foreign country gives you that newfound confidence to like, find what you're passionate about and go after it with all you can. So I would say my time in Florence inspires all areas of my life, especially the way I like tackle new projects.
Thanks so much for doing this interview, Cassandra. And thank you everyone for watching.